Have you ever wondered why some women seem to possess a magnetic force that defies time, appearances, and society's most rigid standards? Why, even in her mature years, certain women remain utterly irresistible, not just because of their outward beauty, but because of a powerful energy that dwells within, an essence that radiates through her actions, her gaze, her presence. The truth is, society has been lying to you, telling you that youth is the secret to seduction, that a woman's allure diminishes with age, that signs of aging are marks of decline and fragility. That narrative is a myth, an illusion planted by a patriarchal culture that seeks to hide the ancient, primal power every mature woman carries within herself. And that power isn't rooted in youth, in superficial beauty, or in tricks of seduction. It's embedded in what Carl Jung called sacred vices, archetypal forces that lie at the very core of feminine power. These forces are part of our ancestral legacy, hidden within the shadows, those parts of ourselves that society has conditioned us to repress, deny, and shame. Picture this! Inside every woman exists a universe of potential, the legacy of spiritual strength, and inheritances of power that, when unlocked, transforms her into a source of magnetic energy capable of touching the deepest parts of a man's soul. And these forces, these shadows, are not weaknesses. They are the key to true femininity, an irresistibly magnetic energy that ages gracefully, radiates authenticity, and defies the constraints of societal standards. Carl Jung, even in his most secret writings, uncovered that the real power of the archetypal feminine doesn't depend on perfection or youth. It depends on embracing what society considers dark, the shadow self, the unaccepted, often condemned, forbidden parts of our nature. Think for a moment. The woman who dares to accept her shadows, her vices, not only awakens a deeper, more profound seduction, she unlocks her true essence. That essence is a force so potent that it can electrify any room, any encounter, effortlessly bridging the conscious surface with the deep, primal roots of desire. And those vices are exactly what I want to reveal to you. 8 sacred forces that, when consciously integrated, turn any woman into an irresistible force of nature. A magnet whose pull goes far beyond superficial appearances, reaching deep into the soul of the man across from her. Now you might be asking yourself, what are these vices? How do they work? And how can I access them in my own life? That's what this journey is about. A path of discovery, courage, and transformation. We will uncover the 8 sacred vices Jung identified as the keys to a woman's erotic magnetism. Vices that are often suppressed, misunderstood, or outright demonized by the cultural conditioning that surrounds us. But this isn't about superficial tricks or manipulative techniques. It's about a profound energetic awakening, a return to your most authentic, wild self. The real feminine power is never about trying to impress or blend in. It's about owning your shadows, your desires, your vulnerabilities, and unleashing them with bold confidence. If you feel even a flicker of truth in what I'm sharing, then prepare yourself. Because once you discover these vices, once you unlock their potential, your entire understanding of seduction, power, and feminine magnetism will change forever. Your greatest strength is not in hiding your truth, it's in revealing it. Your most irresistible trait isn't a flawless appearance or a fake smile, but the raw, unfiltered energy that comes from fully accepting every part of yourself, even the parts society whispers are dirty or forbidden. And that, my dear, is the path to becoming a woman whose light burns brighter with age. A woman who radiates confidence, power, and deep-rooted sensuality. All it takes is the willingness to confront some of the deepest, most hidden aspects of your soul. A journey into your shadows, where the true magic resides. Are you ready to learn about the 8 sacred vices that can awaken your authentic, raw, and powerful femininity? Let's begin. The first, and perhaps most profound, is the one rooted in your innate ferocity, a force that ignites desire without shame or hesitation. It's the foundation of all the others, and once unlocked, it can transform your entire sense of self. Stay with me, because what I'm about to reveal will shake the very core of what you thought was possible in your femininity. And when you embrace it, you'll understand that true seduction comes from embracing your wild, primal self, a force that has been buried beneath layers of conditioning for far too long. It's time to awaken that power. Because the most irresistible women are those who dare to embrace their shadows, their vices, their rawest instincts. That, my love, is where true power lies. The first sacred vice, bold vulnerability, owning your desire without limits. The journey into true feminine magnetism begins with what society has taught you to hide, your raw, unfiltered desire. Jung discovered that the most compelling women are those who can be radically honest about what they want without shame or hesitation. Yes, this is a vice, considered taboo and dangerous by a world obsessed with control. But in reality, this unshakable authenticity is an ancient, sacred force. Think for a moment. What if the greatest power a woman can wield is her ability to expose her deepest wishes and needs, boldly, without mask or pretense? Imagine walking into a room where your energy screams to the universe. This is what I want. This is what I desire, nothing less. How would that shift the dynamic? How would men respond? This is what Jung called bold vulnerability. It's the art of showing your desire, your hunger, your longing, without filters, without pretending, without appeasing. It's an act of radical honesty that awakens your inner fire. And yet, society has punished women for this. The patriarchal narrative insists that a proper woman must hide her desires, play the role of the passive object of affection, and always be pleasing. But in truth, the women who ignite the deepest attraction are those who dare to own their passions fully. When a woman embraces her bold vulnerability, she sends a powerful signal to her subconscious that she is fully alive, fully present, and unafraid of her own power. She no longer hides behind social masks, but offers her authentic self, raw, real, and irresistibly magnetic. Now, how do you activate this? It starts with a simple yet profound practice. Sit quietly in a sacred space, close your eyes, and bring full awareness to what you genuinely desire. Visualize this desire as a burning flame within your heart. Breathe deeply and silently declare, "This is what I want. This is what I need," without apology. Repeat this affirmation, feeling it resonate in every cell of your body. The more you practice this, the more you'll notice how your energy shifts. You'll start to radiate what I call the magnetic raw, the kind of energy that doesn't beg or plead, it simply draws. The second vice reinforces this: sacred selfishness, the sacred art of prioritizing your pleasure. The second sacred vice, sacred selfishness, owning your pleasure as a sacred power. Throughout centuries, women were conditioned to sacrifice their pleasure, viewing their own joy as secondary or even selfish. This conditioned self-denial creates a suppressed energy that drains vitality and diminishes magnetism. But Carl Jung understood that true feminine power arises when a woman claims her pleasure, perceiving it as a sacred act, an act of divine creativity, not selfishness. Imagine a woman who unapologetically asserts her needs, demands satisfaction, and leads her own sensual dance. She's not waiting for permission or validation. She knows her pleasure is her birthright, vital, alive, divine. In ancient tantric traditions, female orgasm was a sacred gateway, an entrance to higher consciousness and divine power. Sacred selfishness is about reclaiming that, owning your pleasure as a form of spiritual mastery. You might wonder, how do I practice this in everyday life? It begins with reclaiming your energy. Visualize a radiant golden light at your pelvic center. Breathe deeply, focusing on this light, and affirm, "My pleasure is sacred. My desire is divine." Repeat this daily, imagining your energy expanding, radiating outward, and attracting the partner who recognizes and reveres your power. The more you embody this sacred selfishness, the more your energy becomes a force of nature, a magnetic field drawing in the right partners, the fulfilling connections you deserve. Now, these two vices, bold vulnerability and sacred selfishness, are the foundation. They activate the energy that awakens the woman's primal magnetism, but these forces are just the beginning. Next, we dive into the third vice, embracing imperfections and celebrating your authenticity. Just as Jung observed, ancient cultures revered the natural, mature female body and spirit. The third sacred vice, proud imperfection, embracing your authentic, mature self. One of the most revolutionary and overlooked vices in today's world is the art of proud imperfection. Cultures that have remained untouched by Western ideals of youth and perfection have long revered the natural beauty that comes with age. The wrinkles, scars, curves, and marks of a woman's journey through life. In our modern society, we've been conditioned to see these signs of maturity as flaws, as something to be hidden, corrected, or covered. But Jung uncovered that in ancient traditions, especially in tribal societies. These are the very things that embody power, resilience, and authenticity. They are the badges of wisdom and sacred femininity. When a woman fully accepts her body, with all its stories, the laugh lines, the stretch marks, the curves that have nourished life, she shifts her energy. She radiates confidence at every age. Her presence becomes magnetic because she owns herself completely, without shame or regret. Embracing your proud imperfection is about celebrating what society wants you to conceal. It's looking in the mirror and saying, every line, every scar, every change tells a story of strength. I am a woman who has lived, loved, and evolved. Why is this so powerful? Because the unseen beauty of a woman who owns her aging body triggers a deep, unconscious recognition in the evolved male psyche. Men, especially those seeking real connection, sense the authenticity of such a woman and are irresistibly drawn to her presence. How do you activate this? Practice is simple but transformative. Stand before a full-length mirror and look at every inch of your body. Speak to it. I am beautiful. I am powerful. I embrace every part of me, my history, my growth, my transformation. Do this daily, and over time the external signs will fade into insignificance compared to your radiant confidence. The fourth sacred vice, total presence, the art of absolute mind-body connection. Nothing amplifies womanly magnetism more than the ability to enter what Jung called total presence, a state of pure, unfiltered consciousness where your entire being is immersed in the moment. This is the divine art of surrender, letting go of all mental chatter, egoic judgments, and superficial worries to fully inhabit the here and now. Ancient tantric traditions revered this state, recognizing it as a gateway to divine ecstasy. When a woman consciously cultivates her capacity for total presence during intimacy and throughout her life, she transforms her energy into a powerful magnet. It's similar to a lighthouse cutting through fog, shining with unwavering clarity. Imagine you're fully immersed in the current moment. Every sensation, every breath, every heartbeat. Your mind quiets, and your body becomes a vessel of pure awareness. When this happens, your energetic frequency elevates. You exude a vibrational field so potent that it acts as an irresistible signal to the innermost, primal parts of any man's brain. Practicing this is about slow, mindful breathing, centered on your sexual energy. Sit in a quiet space. Close your eyes and bring attention to your breath. Visualize the energy entering your sexual center with each inhale, flowing upward along your spine, illuminating your entire being. As you exhale, imagine this energy radiating outward, calm, powerful, grounded. Over time, this practice enhances your capacity to stay fully present in every moment, whether you're alone, in conversation, or in intimate connection. The reward? A woman who radiates such authenticity cannot be ignored. She becomes an energy vortex, an embodiment of divine presence that triggers a primal attraction in men who are seeking real connection. The fifth sacred vice, forbidden imagination. Unlocking your deepest desires. Throughout history, women's erotic imaginations have been demonized and suppressed, considered dangerous, unladylike, or even sinful. But in truth, this forbidden vice is one of the most potent sources of feminine magnetism. And Carl Jung understood that a woman's capacity to vividly imagine her deepest desires and fantasies is directly linked to her creative, divine power. Imagine this. Your mind is a portal to infinite worlds, dimensions of pleasure, intimacy, and mystical union. When you cultivate this inner universe, your energy becomes a force of manifestation, calling forth experiences, partners, and moments that resonate with your soul's wildest dreams. Ancient tantric priestesses knew this well. They trained themselves to conjure vivid images of union, love, and divine ecstasy, images that served as a blueprint for manifesting their desires. When a woman owns her fantasies, speaks them aloud, or even writes them down with passion, she activates what in tantric tradition is called VICES, the creative power of the spoken word. How do you awaken this sacred vice? Start by creating a dedicated journal. Call it your desires vault. Every night, write freely and vividly about whatever you crave. Fantasies, adventures, deep passions you're afraid to admit. Don't censor yourself. Feel every emotion. Each desire is real and divine. Over time, this practice rewires your energetic blueprint, making you a magnet for what your soul truly craves. Remember, your imagination isn't a fantasy escape. It's a divine tool of manifestation. When you give voice to your deepest truths, privately, passionately, you activate a magnetic vortex, drawing co-conspirators, lovers, and opportunities into your life. The sixth sacred vice, spiritual power, transmuting sexual energy into divine energy. One of the most esoteric but incredibly powerful vices Jung uncovered is the ability to transform sexual energy into spiritual power, and vice versa. Imagine that your life force isn't separate from your spirituality, but an extension of it. When mastered, this vice elevates your feminine magnetism into a sacred act of alchemy. Ancient traditions from Tantra and Taoism teach that sexual energy is the most potent life force, nourishing, creative, divine. Women who understand this harness their energy to transcend physical pleasure and access heightened states of consciousness. When they do so consciously, they activate their Shakti force, the divine feminine energy that empowers everything they do. How to cultivate this? Engage in visualizations like the light sphere meditation. Sit quietly, close your eyes, and imagine a radiant, pulsating golden sphere in your pelvic region. Feel it expanding on each inhale, growing brighter, more energetic. Visualize this sphere illuminating each chakra along your spine, connecting your physical, emotional, and spiritual selves. With each exhale, imagine this light flowing upward through your crown chakra, connecting you to divine consciousness, then flowing back down through your chakras, creating an endless circuit of divine energy. When you practice this daily, you gradually master the art of transmuting your sexual energy into spiritual power, feeding your magnetism from a sacred core. The more you align your sexual and spiritual energies, the more irresistible you become. ARE, the woman who embodies divine union. The seventh sacred vice, conscious transgression. Breaking the rules of conditioning. Finally, the most daring and revolutionary vice Jung described is conscious transgression, the willingness to intentionally break societal, cultural, and personal limitations around your sexuality and femininity. Think of this as the sacred act of shattering your internalized rules, particularly those that have confined your authentic power and expression. Throughout history, women have been indoctrinated to be proper, acceptable, modest. But deep inside, every woman has a wild, untamed core craving freedom, the freedom to explore, to express, to challenge norms. The act of conscious transgression isn't about ego rebellion. It's a profound act of inner liberation, a declaration that you define your truth. How do you activate this? It starts by recognizing your own constraints, judgments, fears, conditioned beliefs, and deliberately choosing to tear down those walls. It could be wearing something daring, saying no to someone who disrespects you, or exploring desires you've kept hidden out of fear or guilt. When you dare to own your wholeness, rejecting false modesty, and embracing your full expression, you activate an ancient evolutionary force. Men sense this immediately, an authentic, untamable energy that speaks directly to their own deep instincts. This vice creates a ripple effect. Your confidence skyrockets, and your magnetism becomes magnetic beyond physical attraction. an aura of fearless truth. The more you transgress with awareness, the more you step into your divine power, becoming a woman who commands effortless respect and irresistible allure. You've journeyed through the depths of your subconscious, uncovered your sacred vices, and learned how to awaken the power hidden within. Now understand this. These aren't just tools or techniques. They are the keys to a profound rebirth. The woman who truly masters these vices becomes a radiant force. Her energy is so compelling that the world, and the men who cross her path, cannot help but respond. This is the truth Carl Jung revealed, that beneath the layers of conditioning imposed by society, every woman harbors an innate divine force, powerful, wild, and sacred. It's never been about hiding who you are or trying to fit into predefined roles. Instead, it's about reclaiming your authenticity and embracing your shadows as sacred allies. Imagine looking in the mirror and recognizing yourself, not as the woman society told you to be, but as the goddess of your own divine alchemy. Your scars, wrinkles, curves, and imperfections are no longer marks of weakness. They are your badges of honor, symbols of resilience and truth. This is what women in ancient cultures understood. Their power was rooted in their shadows, their imperfections, their raw desire. They knew that true magnetism isn't superficial. It's an energetic frequency that emanates from a woman who's fully alive and unapologetically herself. And now, that power is available to you too. You are not too old, too broken, or too imperfect. You are precisely the woman who has survived, grown, and blossomed into a unique vessel of divine energy. Your sexuality isn't a fleeting thing. It's an eternal flame, waiting to be rekindled and emboldened. The path to this radiance requires courage, the courage to confront and accept every shadow, every desire, every vice that society deems dirty. Because these are the very things that, when integrated, turn you into an inexhaustible magnet, an irresistible force that transcends age and superficial standards. And the most beautiful part? You don't need anyone's approval. You only need to believe in your own divine power to reshape your reality. Your authentic magnetism is waiting to be awakened, and it begins now. As you step into this journey, remember, every sacred vice feeds into the next, creating a vortex of unstoppable energy. When combined, they create a woman whose presence alone commands respect, desire, and admiration, one who is fully aware of her divine, primal nature. Are you willing to take this leap? To shed old beliefs, dismantle limiting conditioning, and embrace the wild, sacred, irresistible woman you were born to be. Let this be your moment of awakening. The journey of authentic femininity is not for the faint of heart. It's for the brave, for the women who dare to confront their shadows and own their power, completely, unapologetically. If you're ready to walk this path, I invite you to take the next step. Not someday, not tomorrow, but now. Dive deep into your shadows. Reclaim your power. Embody your divine vices. Because your most magnetic, irresistible self is waiting, hidden beneath layers of doubt, secrecy, and conditioning. And when you do, you will realize something extraordinary. The power to transform your entire life, your relationships, your sense of self resides within you. You don't need validation or external applause. All you need is the courage to be fully, completely, unashamedly yourself. The world has been waiting for women like you, women who dare to transcend superficial appearances and plunge into the depths of their own sacred darkness. Because it's there, in the shadows, that true femininity awakens, timeless, unbreakable, and utterly magnetic. Now the choice is yours. Will you remain trapped in the stories society has told you? Or will you step into your divine power and claim the magnetic force that's always been yours? The path of the awakened, irresistible woman begins today. It's time to remember. Your most profound seduction is rooted in authenticity. Your greatest power lies in embracing all parts of yourself, your shadow, your light, your raw, unfiltered truth. The universe is waiting to respond to your true, wild, sacred self. Are you ready to unleash it? This is your moment. your transformation, your rebirth.